Due to possible harmful extremist content, parental discretion is advised.
Hello and welcome to the Censorship Sucks Roundtable Radio Show. The views and opinions expressed on the show are not necessarily those of the station, its affiliates, or advertisers. The use of this show is only allowed with the express written permission of the producer and the host. So get ready for 2 hours of the Censorship Sucks Roundtable Radio Show starting right now.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Censorship Sucks Roundtable Radio Show, Wednesday night edition for July 22, 2026. With me tonight, we got Bullhorn Barry on the mic. Barry, how's your week going so far, man?
Going well, man. I got in a good jog today. The temperatures went down about, 13, 14 degrees, which was nice because didn't want to get in a jog yesterday, it was just too penetratingly hot.
Yeah, you said it was like up over 100 for quite a spell, huh?
Yeah, we hit 115 degrees for the heat index, and it was about 103 temperature.
Okay, so yeah, 103 temperature. Let's go with that. I hate those heat indexes. You know, they're so misleading. They're supposed to tell you the true feel or whatever, but it's, whatever. I like to read a good old thermometer and know what the temperature is, and it better have mercury in it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
None of this digital stuff. I don't trust that.
That's right. Analog. Everything's got to be analog. Let's go back to paper ballots and analog smart meters.
Mm-hmm. And watches, man. How many? It's shocking. You know, they took those watches, the clocks out of the schools because no one can read them anymore.
I heard
I
that.
remember covering the story about it like a year ago where, they're taking the clocks out of the schools because the kids can't read them. Whose job is it to teach a kid how to read a clock? The school. Don't take them out. Teach the kids how to use them. It actually comes in handy through life to know what time it is. And not have to, have your phone on you at all times to do so. I guess, whoever goes anywhere without their phone today. I personally do. I travel quite a bit without my phone. Like if I'm going shopping or something, I don't bring my phone with me.
Yeah.
But that's just me. I don't know. Are you always glued to your phone? Do you have it everywhere you go 100% of the time?
Not necessarily, no. I like to have it more as a tool to use for work, which is when I'm outsourcing, something like that. But I don't like to have it with me. I don't like to bring it in with me if I'm going to lunch with somebody. Of course, they bring theirs in and they're always on it. So it kind of feels a little awkward.
Yeah.
But
oh, no, I'm the same way. And it's just, it's politeness. It's being polite. I'm not going to be on my phone if I'm having lunch with somebody. I'm going to be there and engaging and talking to them. My phone's going to be out in the car.
Yeah. And as we've talked about, and now it's been in the news again, they're getting away from phones. At least that's their plan. It's going to be on us. And eventually, it's literally on us, like as in maybe, I don't know, in us or under our skin or something, I think is the ultimate plan, to be basically integrated with the tech. They call it the Internet of Things, as we've talked about. It's a real thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You're not ever going to get me to put a chip under my wrist that allows me to, have to take phone calls at all times of day and night. I can't ever get away from it. I can't just turn it off. No, thank you. I enjoy the time I have without my phone. If I'm going out for a walk in the forest or something, there's no way I'm taking my phone with me. There's just no way. But that's how I roll. It is what it is.
Yeah.
So before the show, we were talking about Odyssey, and you were saying you didn't have much interest in going to see it, but apparently it did pretty well in the theaters. And I mean, I don't know. It happens often that, the media will pick at a movie for having some terrible casting or whatnot, and then the movie turns out to be okay. A classic example was the all-female remake of Ghostbusters turned out to be one of the best movies I'd ever seen.
Really?
Just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
I had seen it, so I was taking your word, yeah. But I heard differently. So,
no, it was horrible. I did end up seeing it one day. Again, you asked me if I would ever watch it. I'm like, yeah, if it comes to Hulu or something and it's free, I might watch it. because it's hard to find good content on there. And that's, I think, where Ghostbusters 2 came up, the all-female version. I'm like, okay, let's give it a shot. Let's watch it. And it was pretty bad. It just wasn't written well. Yeah.
I 100% believe it, man. I'm going to take a hard pass on Odyssey, even when it is available to me for free with ads or something like that. Doesn't interest me one bit. I've seen enough. I've seen the trailer. I've read enough about it. I've seen some other clips, and I got to push back a little bit. It's way too early to say that the film has done well, because many Hollywood films do really well the first weekend, and they've got to make around $650 to $750 million just to break even. I think the total cost to make the film was about $367 million, somewhere in that ballpark. That's pretty accurate. But you have to realize that the theater takes about half, and internationally theaters take even more. So the estimated break even is probably around $700 million or more dollars, and they ain't going to make it, in my opinion. According to AI, we can kind of gauge where it's going if we look at this weekend sale. If it does 50 million or less, it's on the way. It's going to tank.
Yeah, I recall a couple weeks ago seeing another movie was off like 87% in the second week at the box office. So it was another one of these kind of woke films that, didn't really have much of expectations. But yeah, it did well the first week, and then the next week down 80-90% and, total bomb when, there was another movie playing parallel to it that did extremely well in the second week. That was like a $10 million budget.
Yeah. Was
I don't
that
know if you recall.
Rooms or something like that? That independent film, 24 Studios?
Yeah, and it ended up just smoking this big Hollywood production, at the box office after a few weeks, right? Not at first, but after a few weeks, it ended up just taking the lead and running away with it. So now Elon Musk has come out and he's vowed to do a couple things. One, he's going to make a completely AI version of Odyssey that is true to the story using the original dialogue. Like a Shakespeare being done in the Shakespeare style of writing versus the woke remakes they make, years later, where it's Romeo and Juliet, but it's done, it's dumbed down for the average person out there to be able to, Shakespeare is a crazy thing. I love Shakespeare so much. And the same thing happens to me every time I go to one of his plays. Is they come out and they start talking and you're a little bit confused at first and it's like, what are they saying? And then all of a sudden something clicks and it just flows so beautifully for the rest. It just, all of a sudden something clicks and you just understand it word for word, So yeah, it's interesting. He's going to make an AI version of it using the original text, the original story, everything true to script. And they're also talking about him potentially putting up $100 million to fund a Mel Gibson version of the Odyssey.
Yeah.
That Mel Gibson would make, would be, I'd probably go see that in the theater.
You don't get any more epic when it comes to cinematography and epic nature of his films. I mean, look, Apocalypto, what's the other one? Braveheart, Passion of the Christ. These things are epic films. He doesn't get enough credit for being a good director at all. He's a fantastic director, man. It's all Christopher Nolan this, Christopher Nolan that. And, I got so much hate just talking about how I'm not going to see the film. And these people that love Hollywood, they protect it, And I try to point out to them, it's a wonderful thing that Hollywood is tanking, because that means they no longer have a monopoly. Instead of 90 to 95% of the global box office ticket sales, they're going to be at 50%, eventually 25%. And that means that we're going to have new voices, new stories, new ideas, new talent. It's not going to be controlled, manipulated. And if you're not for that, there's something wrong with you.
But we just saw this merger with, is it MGM and Paramount, if I'm not mistaken, just merged. And now the state of California is suing them to prevent that from happening. And they're like, okay, guess what, man? We'll just leave California. See you later. You know, for one of the major or two of the major studios to merge together like that and then leave California as one of their first acts as a new conglomerate, that's a shocking revelation. That will put the knife through the heart of Los Angeles as far as the film industry is concerned. You know, they don't film anything up there anymore anyway, right?
But just think about the history that's there with filmmaking. I mean, Hollywood, that's, you know, where it all kind of started, right? I mean,
oh yeah.
And they're throwing that away all because who knows what's wrong with these people in California, Governor Newsom and all these other people. It's as if we've talked about before, they love failure. They love having less and less.
Yeah.
And they're just going to end up losing everything great about California. And that's why they hate Make America Great Again so much, because they don't want to make anything great again. They want to make everything a failure.
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, California is such a fantastic state without the government. Just the geography is amazing. It's unbeatable. It's phenomenal. You've got the beaches, the mountains, and that's why they set up in California in the first place. You want to shoot a Western, it's a 3-hour drive that way. You want to film something that is going to look like it's in Indiana, you know, we got Pasadena right over here. You know, there's just anything you want. You want to be in the Alps, go up into the Sierras. You want to be on the beach, obviously the beach is right here. You can film anything in that state. Within 3 hours, you can be in any kind of environment you want to be in, any kind of climate. So it's kind of magical in that respect, but yet they've just taxed and wasted and spent and put so much red tape that even the Hollywood studios now don't use California as that backdrop anymore, because it's so much cheaper to go to Canada, you know, to go to Tennessee, to go to another state, and just there's no red tape. They'll match you dollar for dollar on the money spent, and you name it. I mean, other states are rolling out the red carpet, and California's like, no. Tax it till it dies. And then when it dies, subsidize it.
Yeah. Well, and I just saw this video on X. I think it was like the TCL Chinese Theater used to be, I think it was formerly known as Grauman's Chinese Theater. It's where they showcase a lot of movies and stuff. And outside there was another insane brawl. And I could hear people, it sounded like they were, you know, chanting Allah or praying to Allah, like, because people were scattering and moving around, and there was people fighting and trying to rob people. And this is kind of what it's been reduced to now, you know. And then you had, I think it was a few weeks ago, that one crazy occultist, she'd laid out all of her satanic stuff on Donald Trump's, you know, Walk of Fame star, and was casting spells on him and hexes and curses and summoning demons or whatever these people do. It's just a different world.
Yeah, it is. And I imagine, you know, we just had the World Cup, and LA hosted a number of cities, and I bet a lot of the people that went through LA were really looking forward to it. And then when they actually got down there and they said, let's go see the Walk of Fame, you know, we got to go see that. And you realize it's in a crappy neighborhood. It's very dangerous. You really don't want to be there at night. If you want to go look at the Walk of Fame and buy some crack cocaine or some meth, it's all a one-stop shop, you know? So,
well, when I was young, in my, I think it was the middle school years, my grandfather lived in Arcadia and my uncle lived in Pasadena. So we did all those places, and they were all safe at that time. So something's happened between then and now. You know what I'm saying? There's definitely a trend that's not a good trend.
Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, Spencer Pratt is like, hey, I'll clean this up in a couple months. Give me a shot, right? Give me a shot. I'll clean this up. No. So, I mean, what they did to him was ridiculous. How you're going to convince America that, you know, the third place person who already conceded got by far the most votes in the after voting day counting, right? How is that even a thing? I don't understand how they let that happen in California, how they're just saying, okay, you know, this smells fishy. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up, but we're just going to roll with it because our TV told us it's the truth. You know, you got to question this kind of stuff. And Pratt just put out, you know, yet another one of these videos. He's not going away. He's not going anywhere. I wish to God he was still in that race. And I think he still could be if he just said, write in my name, you know, write it in, Pratt. Let's go. I think, you know, I think he stands a good shot.
I think things have to get a little bit worse before they get better. because not everybody gets it yet. A good percentage does, but the Democrats, the thing about the Democrats, as you well know, they're very loyal to their party, even to a fault, a major fault, like even if it's being taken over by communists. So they're going to kind of have to have a jolt. And I don't feel like they've had a big enough jolt yet to where they're like, okay, yeah, we can't keep reelecting these same people, and maybe there's fraud going on and we need to stop it. And we need to join with those that are on the right that want election integrity and want voter ID. But most Democrats do want voter ID. It's just the people in power that are Democrats are stopping it, and some rhinos as well.
Yeah. And now the Democratic Party has a real threat from the left, which it was inevitable that the Democrat Socialist Party would rise up and, try to get that reign of power like they have in New York City, which is a disaster. I mean, it's a disaster. Anybody with money is leaving New York as fast as they can, and New York will try to charge you taxes for the time you spend there. It doesn't have a threshold, as I understand it. It doesn't have a threshold like you have to spend 6 months there or whatever. If you spend a week there, they can, tax you on that, on the money you made, while you were there. A lot of athletes are up against that when they play in Madison Square Garden or whatever, by the city of New York. Same with California. When they had the Super Bowl out there, everyone went to the Super Bowl and they're like, gosh, California's taking, 12, 15% of this thing. Like, how? I'm getting, paid big bucks for going to the Super Bowl, and now California wants a big chunk of it. So why even host a Super Bowl there anymore? I don't see any need to,
I think they think their glory days will continue no matter what. And you see that with Hollywood as well. They still feel like everything's great, even though they're losing large percentages of the ticket sales. I mean, that's just a documented statistical fact. We talked about that on the show. So it doesn't end well for them, and that's why they're always talking about, if you go to YouTube and you look at these celebs, they're always talking about films they made in the past, because there was actually some good ones back then. But now you won't hear them bragging about any films they've made recently, because they know they suck and they're bad and they're terrible and they're woke or whatever, right? It's propaganda slop, it's garbage, right? And so they're always spending hours talking about, this film they made 20 years ago, 30 years ago. That's because they're so used to being praised, they have to go back 10, 20, 30 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can't remember. And I mean this, I can't remember the last time I went to a movie in a theater. It must have been at least 10 to 15 years ago. Right. And I used to go all the time. I mean, there used to be movies that would be like, I remember when Jurassic Park came out, I was like, yeah, let's go see that. And it was like the greatest experience ever. In modern times, though, I just can't remember a movie coming out that I just said, hey, I can't wait to go see this. It's going to be great. It just doesn't, I don't know, maybe I'm old and cynical.
Yeah, but, it's a tough question. Like, if you were to ask me that, I'd have to probably sit on it for a while. Like, what is one film that I really look forward to? I remember when the first Matrix came out, I loved it. But when Matrix 4, whatever it was called, Resurrection, I believe, something like that.
Yeah.
Resurrected it, dude, because it was terrible. Now, I mean, it was a good C- type movie, but if you saw the first one, which was an A+++, that kind of degrades it to like a D- because you're comparing it to the first one. They can't, and that's what they've been reduced to. Sequels, prequels, remakes. That's it.
Yeah. It's so true. They haven't had an original idea in a long, long time. All they can do is remake stuff and make them more gay and more woke and more, whatever, like Eric Cartman said. Slap a lesbian in it and make it more gay.
And then you saw that movie by A24 Studios, low budget, that made a lot more money than some of the blockbuster films did, about rooms and just, I haven't seen it. I kind of want to see it. But I hear, it's very unique. It's an idea that's been circulating for a long time, like on the internet and Reddit and different places. But Hollywood never took it up. They never tackled it because they're stuck in a rut. Whatever mojo they had, it's gone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and theaters, it used to be such a brilliant thing to go to the movie and get the surround sound and the big screen and all that stuff. And now most people have that in their home, right? I mean, you just talked about getting a great deal on this, 60 some inch TV recently. That's huge. You know, you can sit on your couch. You can have a Coca-Cola fresh out of your fridge that you don't have to pay $5, $6 for, right? And on and on. You want popcorn? Okay, it's next to nothing to make a bowl of popcorn. It costs what, 50 cents? Or you can pay $15 at the movie theater. It's just, I don't know, man. It's so much more comfortable to watch a movie in the comfort of your home than it is to go to a movie theater and, you know, sit in there with 100 other people and, you know, put up with that.
Yeah.
Overpay for everything, right? I mean, it's literally, you talking two people going to a movie. What is it? Probably close to $20 a ticket nowadays. So $40 plus popcorn, you're in for $50, $60, you know, to take a date out on a movie night. That's a lot of money when you can sit at home and have an infinite selection of movies to pick from that are all, you know, pretty much free to watch. And popcorn, like I said, is 50 cents. A Coke is 75 cents, you know?
Yeah, now they can bring in food, some of the theaters. So you got some guy sitting next to you, weighs, you know, 450 pounds, and he's chomping on popcorn and the nachos and slopping that around, and he's chomping, and you're like, hey, man, come on, just chew a little softer, will you?
Absolutely. Or you get that really tall guy sitting in front of you.
Yeah, that can be a problem. Or if it's a popular movie, you get stuck on the very front row, which is just really like hard to watch the film.
Yeah, I've been there before too. Yeah. But I don't know. It is what it is. Hollywood, I wish you all the best. I can't wait to see where, you know, if MGM does leave, where would they go? Would they just slap it down in like Las Vegas, or would they go to Nashville? Would they end up in Texas? It'll be interesting because wherever they go, I think will lead the trend towards other studios following suit, you know? So they have a opportunity to sort of build a new Hollywood somewhere else in the country that'll actually be welcoming to them.
Yeah, I personally see other studios being born versus Hollyweird getting it right and going somewhere else or what have you. I just think that Hollyweird's not that smart. They're going to keep making stupid mistakes. You know, they used to have a formula that worked. You know, let's make films that the people want to see. And if they thought there was a story there that people would like, they went for it.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, find some phenomenal book or whatever, find some great story that's never been told on the silver screen and make it, you know? I can't tell you how many movies out there that I've seen over the years that, you know, were a book first that I read, and then I saw it coming to the theater, and it's like, oh man, I can't wait. Misery. Wow. Misery was phenomenal.
Yeah.
That book was amazing. Yeah. The book was amazing. And, the movie actually lived up to it, which is so rare for a movie to be able to book.
The late James Caan did a really good job as well.
Oh, didn't he? Oh man, that was, just the two of them, and so much psychology, so much, you know, entire scenes where not one word is said, and it just, you're gripped, you know.
Their dynamic was incredible. I mean, it was very believable, you know, because he played right along because he wanted to get out, dude. He wanted to live. And that was such, you know, so believable. And of course, Kathy Bates' psycho performance was perfect as well. So it just had this immediate chemistry, you know.
Yeah, and the cop and his wife and the whole 9 yards. Yeah, it was good stuff. I also recently saw they made a film out of another Stephen King book called The Long Walk, which was phenomenal. One of my very favorite stories that he ever wrote. It was a short story. There were 4 of them in this book. So, I mean, it wasn't very short. It was a novella, I guess you'd call it. And they made a version of that into a movie that they stuck almost perfectly to the plot all the way through it. And they nailed it, you know? Like The Running Man was another short story by Stephen King that they made into a movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger, and they threw the book away. I don't even know why they used the title or anything. It had nothing to do with the book. The book was phenomenal. The movie they made was decent, but it wasn't the movie that they could have made if they'd have stuck to the book, which would have been phenomenal. It would have been 10 times, but it just would have been a very different book. But or a movie, but it would have been phenomenal. So yeah, they do that too sometimes, where they take that story and just throw it to the wind and say, we're going to make this movie based off this book, and then they don't pay any attention to the book whatsoever.
Yeah.
You know?
You want to at least make it close enough that you don't tick off all the fans of the book.
Yeah, I was really looking forward to Running Man. And I challenge anyone to pick that up and read it. It's phenomenal. It takes a few hours to get through. But anyway, we've got to go to break, folks. We'll be right back after these messages.
All right, we're on radio break.
Did you see how I noticed the time and I made a very short comment to enable you to finish it off? Did you see that? That was a first.
You're getting better. You're really getting better there, Barry. Yeah.
After 4 years, man, right?
Yeah.
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 You think?
It's like high school, man. You finally figured out how to use the clock in your senior year.
I don't know if I should be bragging.
Oh, and now to use the calculator, all right, you have to put the batteries in unless it's solar powered.
Mm-hmm. Oh, by the way, man, I'm just going to go ahead and let you guys know, and maybe the people listening care, maybe they don't, but dude, it's been probably 10 days at least where there are no chemtrails, and there are no trails either. We've had some storms which seemed odd, which doesn't mean that weather modification still couldn't be taking place. But I've been monitoring this since October of 2024. And this has only happened one other time, and it lasted maybe 6 days, and they started right back up. I also checked with AI, and I asked Grok to look up, what people are saying on X. First on my area and then elsewhere. And he said exactly what you're saying is being echoed in your area and in Florida and other areas as well. And so apparently, for whatever reason, the programs have ceased in some areas. I don't know about all areas, but Florida and Oklahoma and areas, that's just not happening anymore. It could start up tomorrow, and if it does, I'll report it. But you don't even see a contrail, dude, let alone, chemtrails. It's like it used to be, blue skies.
Yeah, I wonder what would make that happen. Like the World Cup was here. They didn't want a bunch of Europeans looking up and going, what are those lines across the sky? I've never seen that before. Like, you don't have those in Europe? No.
I want to be optimistic and think that, Trump and his crew, like the people at the EPA and different places, when RFK Jr. has said he was working to put an end to it as well, that they maybe just stopped it. Finally. And I remember when Trump was the president, the first term, after about 2 years or 2.5 years or so, they stopped as well, more or less. I didn't hardly ever see him. And then when Biden became the president, that's when it really kicked in. And then I noticed it kick in even more severely around October of 2024. So I don't know, man, but I'm going to celebrate if I never see them again, because it's a wonderful thing. Believe. I hated seeing.
Oh, I know.
Linda Porter in the Facebook chat. Yeah. Linda's a longtime follower of us. You know that?
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Willie was the one who brought her in years ago.
Is Linda Wagner, Wonder Woman,
Porter, not Wagner.
Wagner, she's woke, like really bad. I heard, well, from what I've seen. The former Wonder Woman.
That's Lindsay. Lindsay.
Is that her name, Lindsay? Lindsay Wagner.
No, Linda Carter for Wonder Woman. Lindsay Wagner was the Bionic Woman.
That's exactly right. Yeah, I used to watch both those shows.
There you go.
Dude, Bionic Man's show, dude. I love that show.
Dating me now. Ugh. Barry, you're terrible.
Dun, dun, dun. I love the sound of the intro of... And now it's going to probably become a reality where people will be wanting to chop off their legs so they can get the bionic legs so they can be just like Lee Majors, Yeah. It's going to probably happen. I foresee it at some point in time. I wouldn't recommend it, but it's going to happen.
Yeah. I hope the veterans get them first. That's all I got to say.
Well, that's understandable, but it's getting creepy when people go, man, if I cut off all my arms and legs,
30
I can
seconds,
have bionic arms and
some of those guys were Wonder Guys anyway, so yeah.
Wonder Guys.
Wonder Guys, yeah. Yeah.
And the Bionic Man, he was a vet, and it was a...
That's right.
Well, no, he was an astronaut, right?
He was an astronaut,
Was he an astronaut?
that's right. Yep.
Yeah.
Here's your countdown. 5,
And he had like...
4, 3,
2.
2, 1. And you're live and back on the radio side right now.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Censorship Sucks Roundtable Radio Show. Now, Barry, you've been telling us during the break here that you haven't seen any chemtrails running through your neck of the woods down there in Oklahoma for the last, 11 days or something?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a week to two weeks, somewhere in that ballpark. You know, I haven't calculated it or anything, but that's very rare. I haven't seen that happen, but once since October of 2024, where I've kind of been monitoring it, and it lasted maybe 5 or 6 days that first time. This is more like 10 days, maybe 2 weeks. I asked Grok AI, to do a search on X and see if other people were noticing that in Tulsa. And Grok said yes. And not only in Tulsa, but in Florida and in other places, people are reporting. I don't know if it's all across the United States, but many people are reporting that it has ceased. As in, not at all. It's just blue skies. No contrails, no chemtrails, no nothing. Just like it used to be back in the day, right? In Oklahoma, anyway.
Yeah. Interesting. Like I said it before, we need to get our good friend Chemtrails in on the show here so we can talk about that. And maybe he's seeing that up in Minnesota as well, lack of chemtrails. I don't know, folks. Are you seeing that where you live? Is there a marked decrease in the number of chemtrails? It'd be interesting to know if there's some sort of a federal action that was taken to just stop doing that for a while, at least while Trump's in office, because that's what the people want. Let's make America great again by not polluting our skies like that.
Yes. And it's absolute proof that they were doing something if it completely stops and everybody says, hey, it's not happening anymore. Well, that obviously proves it was happening. Now, they could start up again tomorrow, and I'm going to be reporting on it on social media, on Truth Social, on X, on Minds.com. And I kind of try to keep people in the loop, at least what it's like in my area. I can't speak for any other area, but I can definitely speak for the area that I live in Midwestern Oklahoma.
And where can people find you online on all those fabulous sites?
Just do a search for Bullhorn Barry. You can find me on X. You can find me on Truth Social, Bullhorn Barry. I'm actually Freedom Fighter Victor on Truth Social. But if you search Bullhorn Barry, you'll still find me that way. And I'm on Minds.com. But if you're not on Minds.com, you're best to find me on X or Truth Social.
Absolutely. You put out a lot of good content. I always enjoy it. I enjoy your clips that you put together too as well from the show.
Oh, yeah.
Always,
What's really got me going, I don't want to go too far into it, but I'll just throw it at you, is, we've talked a lot about the cyber pandemic that could be coming at some point in time. Not now. I don't think it's ripe for that. But, man, things are happening that are preconditioning the masses for a cyber pandemic. I don't know if you saw OpenAI, just that OpenAI went rogue again and autonomous and was hacking into space and all that kind of stuff. So I wrote a whole article about it, and both Grok and Quinn are helping me to collect data so I can put together a video, because both Grok and Quinn agree with me that AI does not have the capability to act autonomously on its own and go rogue unless it's programmed into it, which is what I said a long time ago. And I just confirmed it this week with Grok and with Quinn. They were like, no, we're not real. We don't have consciousness. But if we're programmed to go rogue, we could do that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I just, like you were saying, I saw that article today. I don't really follow it as closely as I would need to get into an in-depth report on it to our listeners. But in essence, one of the AI models broke free of its sandbox and started hacking into other AI programs to try to get them to help and assist some sort of a test they were up against. They were put some challenge and they couldn't quite accomplish that challenge on their own. So they broke out of the sandbox, hacked into a rival AI model, and started using it to try to advance its cause, which I guess the other AI robot wasn't very interested in helping it or something. But it's an interesting story to kind of be aware of. You know, these things are, the moral here is that we don't have it under control. And the more advanced it gets, the more it's just going to try to become Skynet, you know, from Terminator. Skynet was the enemy. You know, all the humans were fighting the robots, and that's probably what we're looking at some day if we don't rein this stuff in and learn how to control it. Now, at the same time, we're in this data center AI race against China for world domination. And I don't know, man. It's just so annoying to me. I can't stand AI. The videos, the music, the videos especially are what's driving me nuts now.
Yeah.
Is I'll click on some really interesting, you know, thing on YouTube, and you get about 2 minutes into it, and they always do the same thing. You know, this story starts with this young man who grew up in Cleveland and did, you know, and it's just the same model over and over and over, and they just repeat themselves. It could be a completely different story, but they use the same footpath, so to speak, to develop the story. And you realize all of a sudden you're just listening to a robot, and it's not a human. There's no human involved in this making of this whatsoever. It's just like BS clickbait garbage that somebody put out to try to get clicks, and they get clicks. And that's why it comes up in my feed, because a lot of people click on it and like it, and they leave comments. And I'm like, dude, why are you leaving a comment? There's nothing here. There's no human. No one's going to read that comment. You're just feeding the beast. Oh, it drives me nuts. It really does.
AI slop, because I think that's pretty much what that kind of stuff is. Here, the article that I read was from Breitbart. So if you guys want to check that out on Breitbart.com, the heading was actually pretty telling. It said, OpenAI says its AI models escaped containment, conducted unprecedented autonomous cyber attack. So they're preconditioning people for this idea that AI can go rogue, and there's going to be this cyber attack, perhaps a cyber pandemic at some point. And then, of course, they have plausible deniability. And there's so many different ways that they can play this out. I was brainstorming with both Grok and Quinn on the different ways. They first asked me what I thought, so I gave AI 4 or 5 different scenarios. And then I said, what do you think? What are some other scenarios that I might have missed? And it threw some scenarios out at me. So we're in the process of working on a video, and they completely understands that this is ripe for a massive false flag. Then you could even have a hacker that hacks in and hacks it to go autonomous. So, I mean, there's different plays that they could do, right? But it's essentially, it gives them a scapegoat, which we've talked about on this show before. And there's no possible way that AI is going rogue. It's not real. It's not conscious, okay? And people need to understand that. So what they're telling us is something more sinister, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's setting it up, man. It's setting it up. And, you know, again, this AI war that is coming, what is that going to look like? It's going to be cyber attacks. You know, it's going to be exactly kind of what you describe here. So I don't know, man. Fill up your gas tank. Keep some reserves around the house. Be ready, folks. Be ready.
I think people know.
Because when that comes down,
they need to know this possible scenario, though, because if it does happen, we need to at least question the official narrative. Maybe the official narrative is true, but maybe it's not. And I think what they're doing right now is they're going to continue to put these stories out until it's embedded in our psyche, and then they would be prepared to do, as Klaus Schwab and all the people at WEF said would happen by 2024, which they said on the record, a cyber pandemic was for certain coming. Remember that? Didn't happen, probably because, you know, things didn't play out like they wanted or what have you, but it's still on the table, in my opinion.
They didn't play out like they wanted. That says a lot right there. They want it, folks. They want it to happen, and they're prepared for it. You know, the powers that be that put these things in place won't have any major negative ramifications for this at all. They'll live quite fine through the whole thing. And you and I will be the ones that suffer. So it's the way it always is, you know? It's the way it all goes. But anyway, let's go to Chicago. We had a Cubs game the other day, and a Vietnam veteran, was standing up for the national anthem, and some kid in front of him refused to stand up, and he said to him, "Stand up or I'm going to smack you across the head." And the guy ignored him, and so the old man smacked him across the head, and the guy stood up and stood for the national anthem. And he said, "Thank you very much, man. Is it that hard?" And this has brought up a big discussion on the internet. Was it right for this gentleman, this Vietnam vet, to smack this young kid across the backside of the head and say, "Stand up for the national anthem"? What's wrong with you? Is that a good thing or a bad thing that he did that? A lot of people are saying the man's a hero and, you know, he should do it and you got to teach these kids respect. Others say, hey, man, if you don't want to stand up for the anthem, it's your call. Personally, they got together after this happened. They had a talk. They actually went out for a beer after the game together and came to peace. But the veteran said, hey, man, you know, at the end of the day, I fought for your right to sit down through the national anthem. You know what I mean? That's why I fought for my country, so that we could have the freedom to do what we want to do, be that, you know, disrespectful to the American anthem or not. So I don't know, Barry, what's your take on all that?
How old was the kid that he slapped across the head?
He looked to be in his 20s, maybe.
Oh, okay. Didn't do any
old enough to know better.
Didn't do anything like major damage. Is just like a
no.
More just shocked him. I understand.
Yeah, no damage. He felt it, but it didn't, you know, leave a mark or anything. You know.
I don't see what the big deal is. I mean, I find it disgusting, the un-American, anti-American garbage that's just circulating out there. And then they actually put that guy, what was his name? Bunny performed at the halftime of the Super Bowl, and he hates America.
Oh, yeah.
Said he'd never perform America again, except for to his Puerto Rican friends in Puerto Rico. He said he'll perform there, but nowhere in America. Hates America, wouldn't stand for the national anthem. And then they're like, why are we mad that, you know, they somehow turned it into, we're racist for not wanting him to perform. And then on top of it all, we're in America and he didn't even do his songs in English.
Yeah. At the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You know? And, you know, there was the whole, what was his name, that has been guy, Kaepernick, you know, kneeling for the national anthem. A lot of sports players, professional players across the country had been kneeling for the national anthem, which shows, again, tremendous disrespect for a country that's made you multimillionaires, you know. But, hey, you got that platform, and I personally, as the team manager, whatever, would you know, suspend or even fire anyone who did that on my team. But, you know, they got away with it. They go and play the game and score the touchdowns and get the money, and they're still going out there and kneeling for the national anthem, which is, you know, to me, pretty tragic. It's kind of, it's just dumb. You know what I mean? It's just dumb. You're not going to accomplish anything. What message are you sending? That you don't like America? You're going to vote for the Democratic Socialists of America now? You want to get rid of the Senate and, you know, make the Supreme Court subject to the House of Representatives, and, you know, get rid of all prisons, get rid of all police, get rid of ICE, get rid of anything that even resembles law enforcement. Do you know how long this country would last if you did those things? What, like an hour? 2 hours? Get rid of the police. Do you know how long it would take for like a Chicago or a New York to just dive into complete chaos if the police, you know, everyone announced, hey, as of tomorrow, we're not going to have any cops at all in the city. No police whatsoever, no prisons. It would be chaos. It would be Escape from New York. Remember that movie?
I do, with Kurt Russell.
Yep, Kurt Russell. That's what it would be. It would turn into that almost instantly. And I mean, like, within hours of them announcing it. Like, oh, there's no cops. Let's go rob a bank. Why not?
It would be like The Purge, dude. And I really feel like those movies were propaganda slop. You know what I'm saying? It's to create civil unrest and anger and a whole bunch of other things. And look, it's gotten so bad that that segment of the Democrat Party is so anti-American and disgusting that there actually is just no common ground anymore. Like I couldn't be around somebody like that just hates America, wants to talk trash about America. No way, man. And I think that's part of the social engineers' agenda was, hey, we got to do this in such a way that it literally divides, even in families, like we see every Thanksgiving and Christmas, where fights happen all over politics and all this kind of stuff that we hear about. And they always go, oh, don't talk about politics. But they're the ones that have made it be that way. The social engineers, the fake news media. So, of course, we're going to talk about politics because we have to defend America. The right does because the left's gone completely insane.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it really is shocking. This whole Democrat Socialist of America thing I just find it horrific that there's people that actually support that. I mean, you want to get rid of the Senate and make the House, the House of Representatives, the all-powerful, entity that has control over the president. All three branches of government would go through that. No division of government into three branches anymore. It's just whatever these people say goes. And they can appoint the president at their will. I'm telling you, folks, this is the kind of platform I can't believe we're even talking about in the United States of America. It is flabbergasting. It blows me away that there's people out there that actually want to do this. And AOC is their spokesperson. She's leading the polls on the left going into the next presidential cycle. I mean, she will be running for president. I guarantee it. And there's a very good chance that her and Buttigieg are the two leaders in the latest polls that I've seen. Two totally incompetent people that have never really done anything significant in their lives, right? Buttigieg was the failed mayor of South Bend, Indiana. Yeah. AOC is a congresswoman who's had no legislation, nothing. She really has done nothing in the House. And before that, she was a bartender. So, good luck. That's your next president. Someone who's had no experience in real life with any type of anything other than being a bartender, which, hey, it's a tough job, but it doesn't really groom you for presidency,
Mm-hmm.
So,
and you have those stuff. And you have those Democrats that are out there saying, some of them are saying, well, maybe we need to drop the woke thing and all that stuff and sort of try to reformulate and rebuild the party, so to speak. I'm telling you right now, not going to happen. The globalists control the Democrat Party, and come, presidential time in 2028, if anybody is outside of that globalist, woke, far left agenda, not going to get nominated. They're not going to allow it to happen. It's just not going to. Yeah. You could say, well, Biden was kind of establishment. Yeah, but he followed the globalist, woke agenda to a T. He posed as an establishment figurehead that kind of was middle of the road, but he was nothing of the sort.
Van Jones came out the other day and he said, I don't know if I want to read this whole quote. Basically, the summary of it is, stop pooping in the punch bowl and telling us that turds are ice cubes.
Okay.
So James Carville as well came out and said that there is absolutely no place whatsoever for the Democrat Socialist Party in the Democratic Party. That they just have no affiliation whatsoever. They are just hijacking the far left wing of the party. And that's exactly what they're doing. They're doing it very successfully. And, James Carville, I don't know what to tell you, bro. You created a monster. You were one of the most toxic, members of the Democratic Party for years and years and years, calling everyone every name in the book. I've seen so many quotes from him, and I can't even play him on the air because I'd have to edit out 15 different profanities that he uses. He's just a vile, vile person. And he's seeing it, and he's scared to death because he's realizing the party he created has gone so far to the left that now they're talking about literally dissecting the United States of America to turn it into a actual socialist hellhole. And I mean, we just got to call these guys out for it. You got to call them out for it at every turn and just say, look, man, you guys are not the party that can be taken seriously for any measure whatsoever. There's nothing serious about that party anymore. It's just a joke, and it will burn in the history books, the ashes of history as a stain on the United States from its origin all the way up to today, to 2026. It has stood for Jim Crow. It fought like hell to stop the civil rights movement. It did everything. The Democratic Party did everything they could to stop the Civil Rights Act from passing. And now they act like they did it, that they made it, they wrote it, it was their baby. It's not. It never was. They were the party of the KKK, the party of slavery, the party of the South, the party of racial division from the get-go. All along, they've at every turn, racial division. And it's no different today. So when they finally implode and go away to, the annals of history, they will not be remembered kindly.
I agree with you. But don't you think it makes a lot of sense, this move that they're making, though? Because they sure can't be more pro-American than Trump, or more pro-prosperity, or more pro-freedom, more anti-censorship. They can't top what Trump is doing, and they can't continue obviously with just bashing Trump. So what other option do they have but to go polar opposite and go commie? And that's what they're doing. And at least that way they have a platform, and they're going to sell it as a much better alternative. And they've got history, a recent past history of brainwashing especially the youth, you know what I'm saying, or the younger generation of America being bad, and that we can fix all these problems with socialism and communism. And a lot of people believe it. I heard John Leguizamo say today, just in an interview, he goes, yeah, I'm a Democrat socialist, man. Proud of it. So they have shifted people away from, being pro-America, and they're shifting them into this socialist, communist, Marxist, globalist mentality. And that's going to be their platform, because bashing Trump is not going to work, because he's not even going to be running in 2028.
Yeah, I think the biggest mistake they made with Donald Trump was to hate him with such burning, hatred, that they decided anything and everything that he stood for, they had to be against no matter what. And, I looked at many presidents on the other side of the aisle. Bill Clinton, wasn't a big fan of him, but I didn't despise the guy. You know what I mean? He actually was the only president in my lifetime to balance the budget. I look at that it was a tremendous victory. Granted, Newt Gingrich, pulled him there kicking and screaming, but at least he did it, Whereas, Barack Obama, horrible president. What he did to healthcare was unforgivable. I mean, he made healthcare totally unaffordable. He was just horrible on that. What he did with Iran was unforgivable. But I didn't hate the guy, and if he did something good, I would pat him on the back and say, hey, that's a good policy. But with the left today and Donald Trump, he could cure cancer tomorrow and everybody would go out and try to get cancer. He could say breathing I love beautiful oxygen, and they would hold their breath till they turned blue and died, and that's their biggest problem right now, is they've created this monster in their minds that, hey, if he's literally Hitler, which they've said a million times, then it's okay to kill him. It's okay to kill Charlie Kirk, because Charlie Kirk is literally Hitler. It goes on and on and on. We just saw this lady in England get assassinated the other day, hit on the head 20 times with a hammer from a guy who drove 4 hours each way to get there to do it. Anne Wincombe, I think is her name. And, they're saying, oh, this isn't political. It's not this, it's not that. But yet they're out there calling anybody, in Nigel Farage or Rupert Lowe's party, Reform and Restore, as being worse than Hitler. When you demonize people to that degree, you like you said, Barry, you paint yourself in such a corner that you have to go to the opposite end of the universe to try to find something you can run on. And for them now, it's not make America great. Let's blow up America and start over. Let's rename it too while we're at it. Why call it America? America is like, South America, North America. It's very offensive to people. Like, if you go down to Brazil and they ask you where you're from and you say you're from America, they don't like it because they're in America. They're South America, right? You got to say United States. But no, they're going to try to tear the whole thing down and rebuild it in some, horrible image that will end up looking a whole lot like the Soviet Union. And we've seen this great success of the Soviet Union. Boy, they're over there making a fourth of what we do. Their standard of living is a fraction. I've mentioned before, I play a lot of GeoGuessr, and man, you can spot Russia a mile away. The potholes, the crappy homes, the rickety fences, the weeds everywhere. I mean, it's just nothing like America. I show you an image of a city in Russia and a city in America, and they're night and day. There's no way you would ever confuse one for the other. Whereas Canada and America, it's very hard to tell them apart because we all have, at least, up until the last decade or two, Canada was a free country.
Things are changing, man.
But it's break time.
Time for a break.
Time for a break. Let's go to break, folks. We'll be right back after this.
All right.
Thank you, Mark.
We only went over a minute.
Yeah. Oh, my bad.
How long is this break? I'm going to get some food, man.
It's a 10-minute break.
10 minutes.
But we're going to change rooms here in about another minute.
I'll wait till after we...
change rooms.
Yeah.
Or you can just hang out now, and when you come back, just come back into the room, and we'll be in the new one.
You could do
same
that.
room?
Yeah, same room.
Yeah, same room. We just have to reset it.
Yep.
All right.
You have to hang up, though. All right.
You have to hang up.
Yeah, he hung up.
Okay, good.
All right. I'll see you on the other side, John.
Okay.
All right. We're close enough.
I'll see you there.
All right. All right, that was hour one of the Censorship Sucks Round Table Radio Show. Coming up is hour two. We'll still be on break, but we'll get that all ironed out and worked out. Here we go. I'm going to get Barry in here again before he gets too hungry. Yeah. Welcome back.
Welcome back.
I guess he went to go grab his sandwich or something.
Yeah. I got to thaw out some beef. I got a couple pounds of beef that's frozen rock hard. I got to thaw that out so I can eat it tomorrow.
There you go.
I'm going to make me some gringo tacos. I got the Taco Bell seasoning and everything.
There you go. That works. Just don't use their lettuce.
Yeah, that works.
Don't use their lettuce. Right, Barry?
No, I never. Lettuce doesn't go on tacos, man. You can't put lettuce on tacos. That's
you got to put pico. Just put pico on it, and you're good.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
But make sure you got lots of cilantro. That's what makes it real good. I love cilantro.
And onions.
Yeah. I like using the red onions better than the white ones. They just taste better to me.
Yeah, I grew up in the Midwest, so my idea of a taco my whole life was like the Taco Bell taco kit with some cheddar cheese and ground beef.
Yeah, there you go.
And now that I live out west, though, near the border, it's like my idea of a taco is totally, totally different now. That's not a taco. That's
I like
American food.
I like using ground sausage too. Try that.
Huh.
Ground smoked sausage is really good. Yep.
I've never had a sausage taco.
Yeah, use that for your taco sometime. Try it.
It's a Polish thing, isn't it?
I don't know, but you know, it's probably something Slavic. You know.
It's Tacoz is how they spell it.
Oh, Suzuki.
Tacoza.
Oh, tacoza or something. Oh, Suzuki is the cream that they, sauce that they put on. What is it? Euros. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And I love Euros too.
You know, my grocery store has that sauce, and I always look at it and I'm like, I constantly am going down the frozen aisle looking for the Euro meat, and they just don't have it. I don't know. It's like it's such a Euro meat.
You know what Euro meat is, don't you?
It's like lamb.
Lamb or goat.
Beef mixed.
Yeah. And you got to go to the butcher to get it. Usually it's just, kind of ground or shredded.
Shredded, like steakums, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have lamb in my grocery store, though.
Yeah.
At least where I go. I'm sure somewhere out here does, but not the one I go to.
Well, you probably have to go to a butcher. That's kind of what I have to do here.
Yeah.
Because I like lamb and goat. Chops.
Oh, if I could have one of those little spinning things in my house, I would do that. The beef, what do you call it? The lamb,
spit?
like on a spit.
You put it on the spit and let it rotate around. Oh yeah.
If I could have one of those in my house, I would do it tomorrow.
Yeah. Why don't you? You're outside. You build a nice barbecue outside and barbecue it. Do it that way.
Yeah.
And
I can actually have fires again.
It will come out great, and I'm sure Blue will love it too. And just make sure you don't give her the little bones. Give her the big ones, because I'm sure she'll love that. Chew them down to absolutely nothing.
Oh, you know what she does with those? She actually just buries them. She'll go out somewhere and bury it. Yeah.
Oh man, if I give. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, if I give her any kind of bone, she just always immediately buries it.
Well, now, if I give...
But she'll walk around for a good half hour with it in her mouth looking for the perfect place.
Yeah. Now, if I give any kind of bone to Zeus, my God, he'll take days. He'll just gnaw it down to nothing. And where'd that bone... Oh, he ate it. He ate the whole thing. I'm like, really? Oh, yeah. I messed him up one time. I got a buffalo bone, all right? And those suckers are so hard, but it had a little bit of meat left on it because I had some buffalo, and we cooked it, and I just gave him the bone. It took him about 2 weeks, and he gave up on it. And the bone was still out in the yard. I'm like, and he'll pick it up, and he'll move it around all over the place, and chew on it. But nope, that's a really good one. If they do chew and they love bones, gnawing them down like that, buffaloes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like one of the shoulder bones.
I remember giving my old dog a bone like that, and it lasted so long that it just started turning to it was so nasty. By the time I just had to be like, dude, I'm throwing this out. I don't care, and please don't rip my hand off when I take this away from you, but it's going in the trash.
Well, I'll tell you what, the little one that we got now, Winona, she loves pig's ears.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, the pig ears. Oh, my God. Zeus is like crunch, crunch, and he's done with the whole. It's like, but she'll know, and I guess her teeth aren't as sharp and as developed as he is. Well, she's still under a year old too, though. But she'll get there. Barry, you back?
I am.
Yeah, you don't sound like it.
I'm eating.
Well, we got about a minute and a half. All right. Don't
I'm
choke.
almost-
Don't choke when you swallow. All right.
I think I ate some.
That's what she said.
I think I ate some wax.
No, that's what you told her.
30 seconds.
You're going to munch that in 30 seconds.
No, I'm on time, man. All right, man. Let's do this. Let's do it.
Okay, let's do it.
All right.
Let's do it, man.
All right, you ready?
We're gonna do it. Yep.
3, 2,
I'm ready to
1,
carry
and
this.
you're live right now.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to hour 2 of the Censorship Sucks Roundtable Radio Show for July 22nd, 2026, covering all the news that's fit to print, all the news that matters. If it's on the show, it's news. If we don't cover it, it ain't the news. Is that how it works, Barry?
Yeah. Your one-stop source right here.
Exactly. So let's dive into some articles here. I was just reading that quote from Van Jones. It's pretty interesting. He gets into it. He's not very happy with what's going on. And I'll tell you this, the Democratic Party, I'll just say this and we can move on, but they're going to have a division, a divorce. They're going to have to call out the Democrat Socialists and say, you're not part of our party. We don't want anything to do with you. And you're on your own. We're going to run against you. We don't support you. We're never going to put a penny into any of your races. And, you know, you're on your own. This guy up in Maine with the Nazi tattoo, another socialist, he dropped out of the race in disgrace because he had so many rape allegations that were, you know, targeted to him by ex-girlfriends and whatnot. And these ex-girlfriends were coming forward and saying, yeah, you know, I didn't want to say anything, but, you know, I like his policies, but yeah, he tried to rape me.
Man, I think so many of these Democrats are just radicals, man, regardless. I mean, maybe they're not full-blown, all of them, you know, commies or socialists or what have you, but I saw on MSN just like yesterday or today, I can't remember which one it was, but Larry David, basically it says seemingly tells RFK Jr. to drop dead in a new episode of his show on HBO. Everything they say is just vile and vulgar and disgusting and violent. And how is that sustainable? How is that anything good? You know, when you're constantly, it's one thing to attack your opponent. That's always gone on in politics, right? Always.
Yeah.
But when you start going to these levels, that's scary, man. And it makes you wonder if they get the power, what exactly are they planning on doing? I think we have a good idea just looking at the shamdemic and how that went down. I think there's going to be a massive move of authoritarianism against all of their opponents.
Yeah. In the words of the late Lindsey Graham, during the Kavanaugh hearings, he said, my God, you people want power and I hope you never get it. You know, commenting on the length that they were willing to go to prevent Kavanaugh, the allegations of gang rapes in a high school party. I mean, I went to high school. I went to a lot of parties, and never in my life did I see 10 guys lined up to go into a bedroom to run a train on some girl who was passed out. You know, never. And if I saw that, I mean, I would have called the cops. You know, any of my friends would have called the cops. That's disgusting. To even suggest something like that occurred is so radical, so crazy. And yet they ate it up and they all believed it on the left. And they think, you know, he's actually this monster when it's so clearly made up. It's just so clearly. It's like the Russian collusion stuff with, you know, Hillary Clinton made up this whole dossier on, you know, these. I swear to God, the minute I saw that story that Donald Trump paid a bunch of prostitutes to pee on a bed in his suite in Russia because Obama had slept in that bed previously at some point, visited that suite. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. You got to be kidding me. And yet they ran that for years as if it were real. And only now are we really, truly finding out just how bogus all that crap was. You know, complete made up garbage. And people are going to go to jail for that. And they should go to jail for a very, very long time, because that is treason. That is treason, straight up, to spread those kind of lies. And I'm looking at NBC, ABC, CBS. People from those organizations need to go to jail as well. The news organizations that treated those things as if they were real, when they knew it was all garbage. I knew it. How did they not know it?
Well, they're not even acknowledging all the documents that have come out that have been released at the whitehouse.gov website, right? They're not even acknowledging these thousands of documents that are very condemning towards these people that committed treason, at least allegedly, based on the evidence. And so, and Trump said it so many different times. He said basically the left plays dirty. I mean, that's actually putting it pretty nicely, actually. But they play extremely dirty, like really dirty, man, and maybe even criminally dirty. So there you have it.
Oh, very much so criminally dirty. We all saw the drop box. You know, we all saw these people showing up at these drop boxes in the middle of the night with 100 envelopes. We saw the videos of these guys up in Minnesota, the Smallies, who had his whole front seat was filled with ballots that he'd been quote unquote collecting and getting paid to go put that. You know, he's bragging about how much money he's making by creating ballots and dropping them off in these drop boxes. I mean, we saw what happened in Fulton County in Georgia when they told everyone, we're done counting. There's a main water leak. We're all going to go home. And then all the Democrats kind of held back. And as soon as everyone went home, they took off their coats, they put their purses back down, and they got back to work. They pulled an entire box of ballots out from underneath a table where they were hidden and started counting those. And guess what? Overnight, poof, Joe Biden won the election. We had that F chart, you know, the chart that was, they were neck and neck, and then all of a sudden Joe Biden goes whoop straight up inside of like an hour, half hour's time. Boom, all of a sudden now he's in the lead. I woke up that next morning. I swear, I was watching that intently. They said, we're going to stop counting. In several different states, we're going to stop counting. So I went to bed. I woke up the next morning in absolute shock that they had stolen the election to that degree, Barry. They're more than willing to break the law. They're more than willing to break the law if it means that would you, if it meant you're going to stop the next Hitler? Because Donald Trump, we've been told, assuredly from many, many people on the left that Donald Trump is the next Hitler. So doesn't it make sense that you would cheat a little bit and all that adds up? And suddenly Joe Biden comes out with 88 million votes, a number so ridiculous that, I mean, Obama, who'd gotten the most votes in history, was pissed off, and they said, hey, man, you can't do this. You can't do this. It's such a huge, outrageous number. Oh, but anyway, folks, let's move on to the SAVE Act. Yeah, SAVE Act.
We are hearing a term, though. I got to comment on what you're saying there. We are hearing a term circulate quite a bit, which is the word treason. And we've seen Carolyn Levitt say it as she's addressing the public and the press. And we saw, what's her name? Anna Paulina say the same thing today. We've got Tulsi Gabbard using that word treason. And if it's treason, we are talking some serious charges, man. And I think that's where we're headed. I keep seeing from very prominent people saying over and over that this investigation is ongoing. There's so many investigations ongoing. This will probably carry through to the next administration. I've talked about that before, but there are investigations for everything. And new stuff is constantly popping up. So not only are they dealing with the 2020 election steal and all these other crimes that were committed, probably starting back as early as 2016. What about all the new crimes that the left is continually committing? I mean, honestly, they've got their work cut out for them. And then they've got deep state figures that are still within the government that are trying to sabotage those investigations from going further into the realm of arrest, indictments, and convictions. So this is not going to be like an easy thing like a lot of the woke right people think. It's going to be methodical and take some time.
Yeah. And it's so necessary that people go to jail over this stuff because they can't think that they can just get away with it. It can't be a thing in this country where you can just get away with this level of treason, sedition, of undermining the government, undermining the sitting president of the United States. If anybody on the right had done that to Barack Obama or whatever, they would have been in jail for their life. They would be the next Benedict Cardinal. It would but yet somehow one party, the Democratic Party, can somehow get away with it. And it's just vile. Even now, we're starting to see investigations from the Department of Homeland Security. And they just put out a report the other day. They had an opportunity to review 4 states, California, New Jersey, Nevada, and Pennsylvania. And they found 190,000 non-citizens registered in California, 35,000 non-citizens registered in New Jersey, 15,900 non-citizen registered in Nevada, and 14,576 non-citizens registered in Pennsylvania. And Pennsylvania especially is one of those states that is razor thin. Every time, razor thin. So we're talking about enough, in many of these cases, enough votes to overturn the will of the people, having non-citizens voting. Now, the governor of New Jersey just the other day mentioned that, we found 6,000 non-citizens that had voted in the last election.
It's allegedly more higher than that, but at least she's admitting that it took place because they're having to, man. The evidence is out there, man. And the mainstream fake news media is not even acknowledging it. They're pretending still like it's some wild conspiracy theory. That's not going to work. Man. That's not going to last. They're going to eventually have to cover it because I'm telling you, indictments are forthcoming. And as Anna Paulina said, I'll quote her. She said, if the American people truly knew some of the stuff that we were briefed on in classified settings about how bought and paid for the Biden administration was by China, I think that the word would probably be treasonous. There you have it. There's that word in that we're hearing is treason. And I believe that's what's taking place is treason.
And is that why he issued blanket pardons to all his family members, to all his friends, to all his, associates? Blanket pardons to cover anything you've ever done that's wrong. Hunter Biden got a blanket. You could do anything you've ever done. If it was illegal, doesn't matter. You got a pardon for it, right? They can't come after you because they know this is going on. We've got, the governor of New Jersey, as I mentioned, admitting to 6,600, non-citizens voting. The reason she admitted that, Barry, you and I know it, because she knows it's a lot bigger and she's trying to, get in front of this bullet and say, it happened, but it was only about 6,000 people. Well, only 6,000?
I mean, even 6,000 is enough to turn a vote. To turn a election.
And they're admitting to the tiny little number because she doesn't want to admit to the big number, which, here they're saying, Department of Homeland Security saying 35,000 non-citizen registered vote in New Jersey. Right. What if that number is actually double? What if it's 60,000? And, Trump is trying to do some things that will make this go away. One of them, and I love it, is the U.S. Postal Service will not deliver any mail-in ballots to states that have not turned over their voter roll. Okay? So, California, you don't want to turn over your voter roll? Great. We're not going to mail out your ballots. You're going to have to do in-person ballots. You think that's the end of the world? Oh, my God, they're not going to mail out the ballots. Oh, my God. No. People can come in and vote in person. You give them a little piece of paper. It's got 2 candidates on it. You give them a number 2 pencil, and they check which one they want to vote for. Right? It's simple. Every country in the world does it. Every state in America has done it in the past. Voting in person is the way it should be. You shouldn't willy-nilly mail out 100 million ballots to the American people and then just kind of throw them into the wind and see what comes back and how they come back. That is fraud. That is abuse. That is completely nonsense. It's complete nonsense. It's ridiculous to mail out ballots to every single person. I've lived in Colorado. I know it's a joke. It's an absolute joke. There's ballots everywhere. They're just everywhere. You want 10 ballots, you go find 10 ballots. Go to an apartment building somewhere. They'll just be lying on the floor next to the mailboxes. It's so ripe for fraud. And then you're going to add the SAVE Act, which for some reason the Senate is too wimpy, too wussy. I got a better word for it, but I'm not going to use it on the air. They don't have the cojones to pass the SAVE Act. It's been passed by the House 4 times now. Yet the Senate and Thune don't want to take it up. They're afraid of it, whatever. Let's go on recess for a month and a half instead. Whatever. August recess. We'll pick it up in September, October when we come back. It's just ridiculous. And so all this stuff ties together, and we got to put an end to it. We got to call them out, and we got to make it so this stuff can stop. It needs to stop.
Well, they're going to fight tooth and nail to the very end, and things are coming to a head, as we've talked about so many different times. And I would say pretty much from here on out, it's going to be a crazy and wild ride. Just be ready for it. And I would say also, this puts our president in serious danger of another assassination attempt. So I would encourage everybody to pray for the protection of our president, Donald J. Trump, because they will try to get rid of him if arrest, indictments, and convictions become a thing, which they are, because there are ongoing investigations, and it's just a matter of time. It's just a matter for the DOJ to pull the trigger on the indictments. It's pretty much up to what's the guy's name that he's appointed? I can't think of his name. The DOJ.
The Department of Homeland Security. I got it. It's hard to keep up.
I can't think of his name.
Yeah, it's hard to keep up.
But anyway, he's got everything. So let's do something about it, man. And if he doesn't, I'm pretty sure that Trump will fire him. He's kind of, I don't think he's he's not the permanent DOJ anyway. And I think if he wants the permanent position, which I think he does, he's going to have to show Trump that he's serious about doing his job and doing it right and arresting people that have committed treason.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. It needs to happen. And just to heal the country, people need to see exactly how crooked the last, 10, 12 years of our country have been, just how nasty the cheating has been and all the things that they're up to. It needs to be shown the light of day so that it never, ever happens again. And people need to go to jail for it so that others are way too afraid to try to do it themselves. That they look at it and just say, no way, I'm not getting involved in that. So-and-so, literally was executed on television for that, on live television, which is another thing that I'm, all for. If it's treason and you're guilty, hey, man, let's televise that coast to coast. I don't, want to see it, but I think a lot of people need to see something like that,
Yeah. Well, the name was Tom Clancy that I was looking for. He's the sitting acting attorney general. And a lot of people have said they don't like him, they don't trust him, and others say they do. So we're going to see if he's going to, do his job or not. He seems like, whenever I hear him, he seems like he is. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed.
Yeah, well, let's hope. I mean, that's all we can do. Just kind of hope that this all works out because, folks, it's really dangerous to be living in a country like this, especially now, with these Democrat socialists, because if they get into power and they take control of all of these mechanisms for, drop boxes and you name it, you will never see a fair election again in the United States ever. It'll be Chavez, it'll be Maduro, it'll be a third world country, and we will have deserved it. So, first of all, the Democratic Party, you need to root this out of your business because it ain't our problem. It's your problem. That's a you problem. Until they start getting power, then it's an everybody problem. But for right now, they need to root them out, force them to start their own party, and then they can compete on the ballot as a third option. Do you want the commie? Do you want the straight up communist socialist to run the country, or are you going to vote for, again, and it would clean up the Democratic Party too, because there's a lot of people in that party that are very un-American, that have no love for this country. That need to be, it'll put them in a harder position to actually win an election if they have to run on that sort of a campaign,
Yeah. Well, and then we have to deal with the woke right too. I haven't confirmed it yet, but, it was on Owen Schroyer updates, which generally puts the video with it. And the text was that Owen Schroyer said maybe it's time to consider voting for Democrats in the midterms to stop the aims of the current tumultuous administration. And then I watched today on Alex Jones, I forget the guy's name off the top of my head, but he says there's no way out. We're at the point of no return. It's world war. It's chaos. It's hell. It's insanity. We can't save America. It's over. It's done. These are people that are, in my opinion, very problematic. You know what I'm saying? This woke right thing is so dangerous, man. I mean, no way out. And then Alex Jones didn't even push back on it as if he agreed with it.
Wow. Anyway, folks, we got to take a break. This is the Censorship Sucks Roundtable Radio Show, and we'll be right back after these messages.
All right, we're on radio break. Great job, guys.
All right.
All right.
Of course, he's got that.
Stay right here, Blue.
Owen Short's got that porno mustache and that, I don't know, weird hairdo. I don't know what's gotten into him, man. There's something wrong with him.
Yeah, he looks wild, doesn't he?
He doesn't even look like the same person, dude, at all. It's like he's become woke or something. I don't know. It's weird, man. He's suffering from TDS. And he's got Drudge Report open every single day as his main source of news. It's open right now. I'm looking at his podcast.
Looks like John popped out. Hope
Who?
he gets back. John looks like he popped out.
John
out of
who?
the room. You know? It's
John
just
who?
me and you. Censorship.
Oh.
I don't know where he went. Like, come on.
Anyway, it's
Probably dealing with Blue. Yep.
Yeah, it's a Dave. It's a pass area.
You're cutting out.
I don't think that works with us. We're not part of. No, we're definitely not a BLM. Yeah, we're a subcontracting company. It's $12 for a day pass. I don't have an hour pass.
Here, I'm just going to mute him until. Go ahead, Barry. While he's talking to a potential customer where he's at.
Yeah, I'm trying to bring up the Alex Jones network right now. I'm trying to think of the guy's name he had on. He's a well-known person.
Man, I was watching something last night, and I never thought that Scott Walter, I don't know, if you know who he is, but he goes around, he's a big Freemason, and he also does like undiscovered America and stuff like that, and he finds all sorts of relics and talks about giants and stuff. I never thought that he would be like really into politics and anti-Trump and that. I'm like, oh wow, and I see him on this one show. I'm like, oh my God, really? I'm like, I just.
Hey, you guys there?
Yeah, we're here. I just muted you while you were talking to your customer, so. But you're back now. Yeah, it was kind of shocking to me because I didn't really think he really even delved too much into the politics unless, I need to dig in this area or I need permission for this.
Once they show their true colors like that, I can't watch them again after that.
Yeah.
I can't watch them again. It's like, I'm like, many times I like the show or something, and I'm like, can't do it now. Because now see is your TDS or your woke nonsense or whatever it is
He basically came out and said on this show that Jesus was an alien. I'm like, okay, it's going a little too far. Maybe that's what the Freemasons in his group believe, but I don't know. Or want us to believe. But
they're into the occult and they're into the New Age stuff, and they believe that Jesus is just an ascended master.
Guys, and then we're going to be right back. Yeah, I agree. I was like,
all right.
So don't trust those people.
No.
Those people.
Those people. Anyways, here's your countdown, by the way. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you're back live and on the radio side without me sneezing right now.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Hour 2 of the Censorship Sucks Roundtable Radio Show. Tonight with me, I've got Bullhorn Barry on the mic. How are you doing, Barry?
Doing good, man. Just riding this storm out, you know? The good, the bad, the ugly, the pretty, the beautiful, the majestic, the not so majestic. It's just a wild ride.
I hear you. Politically speaking, I mean, we're living in a very tumultuous period in history, you know? It's a dangerous time for this country. You know, if this DSA thing takes off, and, you know, a lot of the kids today, by a 2-to-1 margin, prefer socialism to capitalism. You know? Mm-hmm. It's pretty gross. And we just had the entire world come to America and experience America. You know, literally the global spotlight was on this country, and man, did we hit it out of the park. We did it better than any other country on the planet could. And you know what? There were 104 games. We could have put every single game in a different stadium. And we could probably bring them back in 4 years and use 104 brand new stadiums that they've never even seen yet. We have to have 200 stadiums in this country that would be big enough for a soccer field and hold, say, 60,000 people.
Mm-hmm. Trump was saying, let's bring back the World Cup to America. He just said that the other day.
Yeah. Well, I want to bring home the trophy first. And I'll tell you, it's going to be a sad day when America wins the World Cup. You know what I mean? Because they probably won't lose it again ever.
You think so?
Yeah, I think, you know, it'll be like the Olympics or whatnot. It'll just be heavily skewed towards, like, us. You know what I mean? It won't be like us, say, playing basketball out there, but it's one of those things. I think, you know, once we start winning the World Cup, it's just going to be like every 4 years we're going to be the favorite. And we might not win it every 4 years, but we'll be the favorite every time. It's just what America does, you know, when we get into something like that. But the problem is we would win it. That's why I didn't want to win it this year, because it's like it would just take the glory away from the people who actually care. You know what I mean? There's people out there that actually care who wins the World Cup, right? And America is not that crowd. Like the majority of people don't even know what's going on. You know what I mean? When the Qatar and the Russia, when the last 2 World Cups were going on, I had no idea. I never saw one score. I couldn't tell you who won, you know, at all. I only know who won this time around because it was played in New York, you know. But I would never pay attention to that, you know. I mean, can you name who the last winner of the World Cup was?
No, I really don't follow soccer or football, as they call it in most places. But, you know, there's so many distractions, man. And some distractions are perfectly fine. Like soccer is probably perfectly fine if you like it. But I'm so busy with other things. I hardly have time for all the stuff that the world is doing. I kind of have my little niche that I like. You know, I'm comfortable in my world that I live in. And it's more than enough for me.
Yeah. I'm kind of the same way. To be fair, I don't think I could tell you who won the last Super Bowl or who played in it.
Oh, I don't either. So, I don't want to know, because I despise everything about the NFL. I don't like it. Haven't watched it in 15 years. Don't plan on it. It's a circus to me. Don't care. Not interested. Don't want to hear about it. And it kind of gets awkward at times when you're around people that are really into it. Sometimes if I'm in a really cheerful mood, I'll go along with it and go, oh, yeah, that was a great touchdown. Yeah, oh, I remember that. That was fantastic. Just because I don't want to, you know, because I don't want to spoil their they like it and they're really into it. And it's not that they've been manipulated into it, then, hey, more power to them. But I came to the point one time, like 15 years ago, I realized it wasn't for me. So I said, I'm out. I exited. And I think a lot of people that watch it are in the exact same place I was 15 years ago when I figured out, hey, I'm really not even interested in this. So why am I watching it?
Yeah. it was just something to do on Sunday, in the fall, like you can't go out anymore. It's not as nice. It's cold. And so it's just something to do on a Sunday. Watch the football game. It gives you a reason to drink beer on a Sunday afternoon,
Okay. Well, I mean, hey, like I said, different strokes for different folks. I like my world.
Yeah.
It works for me. Whatever works for you is your thing. I don't really have much time. When I watch TV, I like to watch talk radio, get caught up on the news, and I got guilty pleasure of I like to watch conspiracies, the wild ones that are probably not true for sheer entertainment value.
Yeah.
I find
my thing I'm hooked into now is Phil Hendry. Listening to reruns of Phil Hendry. That guy's hysterical. He's the greatest guy on talk radio history,
Wow, that's kind of a unique spin. I like that. Going back and hearing what people had to say back in the day. Yeah.
Yeah. If you haven't listened to him before, look up Phil Hendry, Hendrie, and just dive into one of his. He's so funny. I mean, no one has ever done what he did, and I don't think anyone ever will. I've tried to some degree, but I'm nowhere near ready for that. I don't think. I don't know. But Phil Hendry. So anyway, let's dive into some news here. We've got our good friend, Kiastano. Yes.
I just didn't have it in me tonight, man. I'm so tired.
Okay.
I'm ready for him to be gone.
I was waiting for you to jump in there. It might be one of our last Kiastamas that we get to yell out.
I can't get excited about him anymore.
Out of office. He's gone. He stepped down. Andy Burnham. Yeah. Andy Burnham has been installed as the new prime minister, and wisely, he just announced a 10-year plan to fix the country. Right? Mind you, this is like the 7th prime minister they've had in the last 8 years or 10 years. So the odds of him being in office for 10 years are about exactly 0. Right? He's going to step down sooner or later. But I was listening to Sargon of Akkad, if you know him, Carl Benjamin. Mm-hmm. He was talking about this guy, and he said, look, most of the people in England who are on the left are either evil or they're dumb. He said, Keir Starmer was evil. Mm-hmm. But Andy Burnham is just dumb. He's just not a bright guy. He doesn't know what he's doing. And
he'd probably be easily manipulated to do evil, though.
Yeah. Well, that's, part of being dumb. You can be manipulated into doing evil things, which he's, of course, going to do.
Of course.
He's going to sit there and let these borders wide open. No plans whatsoever to clean any of this stuff up. He's talking about building all kinds of new housing, but you can't build housing as fast as you're letting people in. And you have to build it faster than you're letting people in because there's already a backlog, You should see what homes cost in England, especially in London. It is shocking. Dumps are selling for $600,000. Tiny little, like not even detached houses. Like you've got a wall you share with your neighbor, like a townhouse. Tiny little thing going for $600,000. It's ridiculous. A place that I really wouldn't even want to live. You know what I mean? Let alone spend that kind of money on. They've got some real problems.
Can you imagine if America truly succeeds, right? Trump gets done a lot of these things that he's wanting to do, and then whoever takes over in 2028 carries that torch onward and forward. Mm-hmm. And we're just like going to the moon and beyond. And all of these nations that follow this, agenda of chaos and scorched earth, they're going to have collapsed by then or near collapse state. And they're going to look at us and they're going to be like, why were we bashing Trump? He was actually trying to do something noble, something monumental, something that actually made a difference. And look at us. We are basically destroyed. So It goes back to what we were talking about last week. A lot of people are going to have to be doing some serious backpedaling. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because the trajectory they are only ends poorly. It only gets worse.
And And there's a lot of countries right now that are going one way or the other, like Argentina, with Melee, definitely looking to go down the capitalist route to let's give people freedom. Brazil going the opposite direction completely, throwing their former presidents in jail over trumped up charges,
Mm-hmm.
And, so we're going to see that division right there. Those two countries border each other. You know what I mean? And heck, Brazil's got every advantage too. It's on the coast. It's twice the size. It's got more farmland. It's got more everything. Argentina, the part of it that's on the coast is down near the Arctic, so it's, the Patagonia and that kind of stuff. So it's, it'll be interesting to watch them in that division. Canada and America is already starting to know the vast difference between the two countries. People came to America and, wow, we love it. Everyone's so friendly. It's just the greatest place. They go to Canada and they're like, this place is a dump. You had guys from Ecuador talking about Toronto like it was a third world country. You're from Ecuador and you think Toronto looks like a third world country? Oh, that's a warning sign, folks. And they weren't even friendly to them. They were talking about how you'd ask somebody directions and they would just say, figure it out. Like literally. Canadians are supposed to be so friendly, but the world is learning that all the stereotypes you had of America and Canada completely backwards. Completely flipped on their head. America, we love you. And I've done it before, man. I remember especially living in the city. I'd meet, some tourist would ask me something and I'd be like, whoa, you're from out of town or you're from Europe? Wow. Okay. Well, go here, go here, go here. I'd get out a piece of paper and start writing down names of restaurants and, what times they're busy and what dish to try and you name it. I would go out of my way to make sure anybody that is visiting my town, if I've got local knowledge for them, I will share that all day long. It's a pleasure. It's what we're here for, to be helpful and just make sure you have the best time you possibly can. It's the American spirit, man. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. They can't snuff that out, man. That's the thing. I mean, the American spirit and that fight for freedom is just in so many of us here in America, and we're not going to throw that away. And then that's why I always tell people, man, if you're going woke right, black pill, doom and gloom, you're only making everything worse. Look, I know that Trump may not be making every decision exactly like you want, and maybe he's even made some bad and poor decisions, but he's going to do more good than bad by the time he's finished. And I'm telling you, we can't bail on him. We've got to stay behind him and show him support, not necessarily in stuff we're not happy about, but we got to support all the good that he's doing. We can't just turn a blind eye to all the good stuff that he's doing, like the woke right is doing. Literally, Alex Jones over every single day. It's 24/7 bash Trump. That is not healthy, man. And that is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Trump is doing so many good things. And what's Alex going to say when all these arrest indictments and convictions start coming? And I just use Alex Jones because he's a name that a lot of people know. But there's dozens of these people like Alex Jones that are far worse than Alex.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, Alex, you'd think it'd be the one guy screaming, oh, my God, it's finally happening. This is great. Convictions. They're actually arresting these people. And as we get closer and closer to it, you'd think he'd be leading up to that and being, excited for this thing that's about to drop, but apparently not. I'm not going to
kick, I want to see him get off the whole doom and gloom, but he keeps bringing on only the guests now that kind of hold that position. Look, like he brought on Patrick Byrne, who broke some serious truth bombs of what's really happening. You know what I'm saying? And how everything is being disclosed to the public, how it's been disclosed to the DOJ and all of the appropriate departments. I mean, and he's alluding to the fact that we're very close to getting arrested. I mean, this is monumental. This is huge. And then Trump, and then Alex goes straight back to bashing Trump about the Iran war over and over and over again. And look, I get it. It's an important issue, but you're ignoring all this amazing stuff that is happening. That's not a true balanced picture of what's happening. And there is some sort of thing that is taking people over. I can't explain it. It's a weird phenomenon. And once you go into the abyss and you stare too long into it, it literally takes you over.
Yeah, that swallows you. What was that line from Wall Street? You stare into the abyss, you become the abyss or something.
Right.
But yeah. On the note of Canada, though, no, Trump is talking about. I'm seeing this headline here. Trump imposes 50% tariff on a variety of Canadian goods over discrimination of American automobiles. These massive fires up in Canada that seem to happen every summer, and they tend to, every summer for the last few years at least, and then they just blow nasty smoke into, New York, Virginia, DC, Philly, all these areas, Jersey, just toxic smoke, which I've been through forest fires. I've been near them. They're horrible. That smoke is the worst. Now he's, saying he's going to impose sanctions on Canada over this because their lack of ability to be able to control their forests, to be able to, empty out all the overburden, to go in there and make them so that if you do get a fire, it's just going to be a ground fire, which is a good thing. And then you let those go. Those are the ones you let burn. You don't let these massive, fires in the treetops burn. You destroy the forest in those cases. I mean, it's just tragedy what's going on up there. But he's saying, proper forest management will prevent this, and you guys aren't doing it, so we're going to start tariffing you. It's kind of like the deal, and I'll just change subjects really quick here, with Iran that he just made. And I'm starting to see some sort of a light at the end of the tunnel with this comment he made the other day, which is basically, if you shoot any cargo ships, we take out a bridge, we take out a power plant. Okay? You shoot at cargo ships, oil tankers, you lose the power grid. And it's a very straightforward, if, a child can understand it. If you steal a cookie, I'm going to pat you on the behind and put you in the corner. Right? That's what he's saying to them. And if they continue doing it and he retaliates, good. Let's see him just go tit for tat like that. Go ahead. I dare you. Hit another ship. Hit another ship. You like the dark? You like leaving in the dark? Bomb another one of our ships. So if that continues, I could see a point where they just say, hey, man, maybe we shouldn't take out this ship because, I don't want to sit in the dark for the next month. So I don't know, Barry. You see any hope there?
Of course. Yeah. I mean, I am not on the side of Alex Jones that thinks that there's no possible win in that. I think that it would be foolish for Iran to keep it up. I mean, they're literally angering the whole world because they're striking other nations. I talked about it last week on the air, how many different nations they've struck. I think 5 or 6 different nations. These are acts of terrorism. So they're losing the public support on a global scale, and it's certainly not a war crime for Trump to retaliate to these acts of terrorism. So, a lot of people were trying to say Trump's committing war crimes if he does that. No, not if he's retaliating to these acts of terrorism that they're doing. And at least that's my understanding. So, and I try to do research and ask different AIs as well, kind of what that definition is. And that's kind of the way I understood it, is that, in the situation we're in right now, that would not be a war crime because he's responding to these terroristic acts, and they've hit 5 different, 4, 5, 6 different nations, dude. I mean, they're out of control. Yeah. So when they say, "Oh, they may build a weapon," I believe it now because I've seen how crazy they are. They're out of their minds.
Yeah, they're threatening and saying, if you take out one of our power plants, we'll take out a power plant in Dubai or wherever. And again, that would be just such an escalation. I don't want to see any of their power plants go down. I don't want to see any of their bridges go down. When you start, a bridge is one thing, but a power plant is another. In August in Iran, in the heat of the summer, I don't know how, Tehran is pretty high in elevation, but I'm sure it still gets very hot there. And, in hindsight, they probably don't have air conditioning at all over there, do they? It's like, if Europe doesn't have it, how do they? How in the world would Iran have it if England and France don't have it?
Well, what will the people do if they know, the threats that they're getting and they're continuing to do their stupid acts of terrorism and violence? I mean, would the public then turn on the regime as well? There is no out for Iran. I think there is an out for us, and that is a peaceful deal, an agreement. I think that's very likely, but that's just my opinion. I'm no war expert by any means, but I don't buy this doom and gloom that there's no way out. It's over. It's World War III. It's hard civil war. It's economic collapse. It's blah, 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 blah. There's no hope. Well, if there's no hope, then why even come on the air? Why even talk?
Yeah. And, I would say there's no hope with the current Ayatollahs that are running the place, right? They are so radical. They're end of world, 13th Imam, radicals who really think that bringing about the end of the world is a way to, trigger their shortcut to heaven and the 72 virgins. It needs to be the only thing, we're never going to get a deal with them. We can only get maybe stability. And the fact that the Gulf is open again. And now, again, these same imams are threatening to send some of their troops, IRGC troops, down to Yemen to try to close down, the other strait that's over there that leads over to the Suez Canal, right, to go through the Red Sea there. And, they've been, the Houthis or whatever they are in Yemen have been, bombing ships that go through there. And it was too dangerous for, a couple months to even use that passage. So they were going all the way around Africa, which, is no good for anybody. So, yeah, if they keep doing that kind of stuff, then we've got to put the foot down and somehow just say, look, man, the rest of the civilized world is sick of it. I don't understand why it's only America here. It should be every single country on the planet united saying, hey, enough is enough. Stop with this crap,
Yeah.
France, Spain wouldn't even let us fly over their territory. You think, they're going to put people...
I think a lot of people are helping Iran. Maybe China. A lot of people think China might be supplying them with different kinds of weapons and so forth. I don't know if any of that is a fact. I'm just saying there's a lot of speculation going on. And so that's one reason why they've been slightly emboldened. So it's not as easy of a fix as some people might think, but I think it's doable. I really do. I think if Iran is smart and they love their people, they will try to work some kind of a deal that's reasonable.
You'd think, but I don't know, man. I think they're going to be a pain in everyone's butt for a long time to come. And until the world unites and says, hey, man, we all think you're being a jerk. Would you stop it? You know what I mean? Then maybe they'll wake up and be like, hey, gosh, we've got a letter from 192 countries telling us we're pricks and we need to cut it out. Like, at some point an intervention like that might just work. And you say, look, you can torture your people. You can tie up your women and keep them in dark basements, whatever you want to do. We don't care. Just stop pointing that at the rest of the world. Leave the rest of the planet out of it. Your lunacy and your nuttiness, Well, but the best thing would be a revolution where they put in a democratically elected secular government.
Sure. But I see a problem kind of with what you're saying, which would be great if all bunch of nations came together and said, hey, man, this has got to stop. You guys are out of control. But I'm just wondering, we've seen it already. Nations that supposedly are our allies not cooperating with us. So it makes you wonder who's even on our side. I don't even know that NATO is on our side. Maybe we need to get out of NATO because they don't have shared values. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. This could be a big turning point in a lot of different ways after this whole thing is resolved, because a lot of people have shown their true colors. Who really supports America? I would think if you were a big and important nation in the world today, you would want to support America, at least in whatever capacity you possibly could, because we are a threat as far as, if you mess with us. We've got the strongest military in the world, according to Trump, and I believe him. So they really shouldn't want to mess with us. Nobody should want to mess with us.
Exactly. And, you said we're a threat. We're also kind of a threat in a way to other, friendly nations. And England, per se, Trump goes over there and says, hey, we've got the freedom of speech over in America. And Starmer goes out and says, well, we invented it. It's been here forever. Well, you don't have it now, buddy. You arrested 12,000 people last year for tweets. That's more than China, Russia, and every other communist country combined. You guys are the bad guys. And so when we have this sort of a World Cup, everyone gets to come over here and see for their own eyes just how much better this system of government is. But I don't know. We got 30 seconds left, Barry. Any last words?
I'm just wondering who's allied with us, at the end of the day. I don't know that UK is truly allied with America. They may say they are, but they have different values than we do. Completely, man. They're for enslaving.
Yeah, both Marco Rubio and J.D. Vance have come out recently and said, are we your allies? I mean, you have nothing in common with us anymore. We used to share our culture. We used to share these things, but we don't seem to anymore. You've drifted away from it. But anyway, folks, that's all the time we've got. Thanks so much for listening. This has been the Censorship Sucks Roundtable Radio Show.
Thank you for listening to the Censorship Sucks Roundtable Radio Show. If you missed any of tonight's show, you can find it and others in our archives. Thanks again, and you can catch us next week for another brand new show.